council of 88 people that were designated to decide on who the next supreme leader is, they were all eliminated. Also, the first strike injured Mojtaba, his son, who was eventually going to take over, you know, after those 88 guys, which were all eliminated. So the first multiple layers of Iranian leadership were obliterated right away, which is why, quite literally, we are fighting an enemy that is a chicken without a head. They're launching strikes everywhere. They struck the United Arab Emirates. They struck Saudi Arabia. They struck Qatar. They struck Jordan. And they struck Turkey. They struck literally everyone. They have no idea what they're doing. All right? The president of Iran...
They literally got no more allies. Iran is a sitting duck. Well, they probably got Iraq on their side still. But I'm not sure. But I know for a fact they lost the majority of their allies. So there is no coming back from this shit.
Iran is saying we're not striking them. The actual IRGC military is saying they are striking them. Chicken without a head. No one knows who's leading. No one knows what's going on. Honestly, an insane strike. Now, the real twist is, and this is something that I feel like not enough people are talking about, is not only was the intelligence genius, but God blessed us with retarded fucking enemies. Like, I get it. They've been inbreeding for 1,400 years, but like, who is this fucking stupid to put all of your people in like a known location? All right, because quite literally, they were literally meeting up in like the normal meeting buildings. All right, we had our entire military right outside. We had multiple aircraft carriers right outside. We had jets everywhere. We had Israeli air support literally on our side too. All right, these guys were completely and utterly surrounded before the war started. It's not like all of a sudden our ships came out of nowhere and just out of little portals and fucked them up. Like, they were there in front of their front door, and these retards still decided they're going to meet in the generic parliament. All right, and they all got obliterated immediately, and we got all of them, and it was brilliant. The information was amazing. But if you ever wondered why these people were so fucking retarded that they actually decided that it was a good idea to meet up there with all of their guys above ground, knowing that they're surrounded and a war could start at any moment, look. I am a blue retarded cartoon on the internet, and I was right. I literally predicted exactly when the war was going to start, how the war was going to start, and that these guys were all going to die. I was right about everything. And these fuckers didn't know that this was coming? These guys who dedicated their life to chant death to America, death to Israel, were given death by America and by Israel in the first 30 seconds? Well, we know everything now. We know everything now. They had a mole. They had a mole inside of our country, and Trump fed the mole false information to trick them into thinking that the war wasn't happening. And then the war happened. All right. And allegedly, that mole is Tucker Carlson. I can't even believe this is happening in real time. Donald Trump might be the greatest fucking...
Is this true? There's no way this is true. He's got to be trolling, right? Please tell me this is true. If this is true, I'm going to be weak as hell. It will make so much sense, too, because Tucker Carlson quite literally been sounding hella off lately, bro. He's been sounding like he's living in Iran. And he's part of the regime, bro. Like, so if this is true, I'm going to be happy. That nigga Tucker Carlson is, bro, I already knew he was a fucking supporter, but he quite literally working for them is crazy.
Fucking 4D geopolitics chess player of all time, if this is true. Now, we have to talk about Tucker Carlson, because this guy has been popping off the entire war. He has been radically pro-Iran the entire time, demoralizing the American people as much as he possibly can. All right, I'm going to just show you two clips of his, just to, like, show you what I'm trying to talk about. This is one of them.
The President of the United States today said on camera, we're thinking about using nukes against Iran.
He never said that. He said we're not ruling anything out, which is the correct thing to say in war. You never rule something out in war. You always...
I've been saying this, bro. Tucker is working for the opposite side.
But Tucker Carlson is an enemy, in my opinion, of America. And he is allying himself, in my opinion, with the Iranian regime. And not only my opinion, he's going to jail.
So we could eliminate Iran.
Probably going to jail.
Make it uninhabitable forever in an hour.
He's not saying that.
We could take them out by this afternoon. In fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
We could. He's just stating we could, and he's right. We could nuke Iran.
Hey, what the fuck?
I'm not saying that we will. In fact, we probably won't. 99% chance we don't nuke Iran. Just to make it clear, 99% chance it's not going to happen. But we could. right? So they should know who they're dealing with, right? When they're saying death to America and they're trying to kill us and they're doing all this shit, and they're pandering and they're yelling and they're posting AI slop videos that they're winning the war, they should know that we could nuke Iran. We could, objectively.
We have weapons that can do that. Well, those are nuclear weapons. The President of the United States is saying out loud, if this gets more intense,
No, he's not saying out loud.
we could nuke them. And
We could.
We could. That's quite simple.
Will we? Probably not. 99% chance we won't. Trump's never directly said that he's planning on doing it. Right? You are just a propaganda agent. You are quite literally an agent of the enemy.
And again, there's been very little attempt to convince you that we did this in America's national interest.
We all know the national interest of America. These people, again, I feel like I'm going crazy watching people's coverage of this. Remember, if you believe this, you fell for the PSYOP, because Tucker Carlson is part of the PSYOP. All right? He's quite literally part of the PSYOP. He was a guy on the in on Trump. He was like one of Trump's buddies. He was pro-Trump, and now all of a sudden he's against it? Wow, he must be onto something. Unless he's literally a puppet of the Islamic regime, which you'll see he is, in my opinion.
The Secretary of State just came out and said we did it because Israel forced our hand. So they've been...
Trump directly stated, we forced Israel's hand. All right? It's unbelievable that everyone forgets that.
These people are so disingenuous.
Israel's hand. I'll show you. He directly says it. But of course, Tucker Carlson doesn't care about the truth.
Did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did that pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hand. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators, great people, people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready and we were ready, and we've had a very, very powerful impact.
So again, Tucker Carlson is just literally an agent of the enemy. All right, Israel forced our hand when the president, in no minced words, directly stated the opposite.
Been pretty direct about what is going on here and what the stakes potentially are. President of the United States threatening nuclear weapons. Well,
Threatening nuclear weapons? He just said we could. And we could. Like, we all knew that we could. Why are you acting all baffled? We all knew that we could do that. All right, are we going to do that? Almost definitely not. But we all knew we could. That's why I'm so tired of this shit. Like, but again, so this is Tucker Carlson, esteemed advisor of Donald Trump, stating Trump is threatening nukes. Again, we're all living in reality. We know what's happening. And this is Tucker Carlson saying that our soldiers, what Trump actually wants is our soldiers to rape Iranian women.
Unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter if they want.
No, it doesn't. And never in the history of the United States has anything like that.
I ain't gonna lie, I can't make it a whole hour, bro. I'm passing out. I only been live for an hour? What the fuck? Why am I so tired? Why am I so tired, gang? This is about to be a sleeping stream. Passing out. Holy shit. Let me mute this shit just in case I start snoozing.
That ever happened? But what are we talking about? Like, we want an unconditional surrender, meaning a surrender with no conditions. A condition would be like, surrender, but the Islamic regime remains to terrorize people. Surrender, but the Islamic regime gets to still fund terrorists. Surrender, but the Islamic... He wants a surrender with no buts, no conditions. That's what an unconditional surrender means. Unconditional surrender doesn't mean we go rape their wives and daughters. And it is such a bafflingly insane thing to say. Only an Islamist would say something like that, because quite literally, after Islam wins a war, they rape the wives and daughters of the fallen. In fact, Muhammad himself did it. All right, Muhammad himself did it. And the way Muhammad died was because after massacring a woman's father, brother, and husband, he wanted to rape her and had her cook him a meal, and she poisoned him. That's literally how he died. It's the gayest fucking death ever. But bro managed to find a way to do it that way. All right, so Muhammad himself did that stuff. He advocated for that. All right, they take sex slaves in almost every single Islamic country after these battles. Like in Syria, they take Yazidi sex slaves all the time, heartbreaking as that sounds. I mean, again, maybe you're confused here, sir. But that's kind of more like that's what they do. All right, Yazidi survivor Nadia Murad. I was raped every day for 6 months. They killed my mother for being too old to be a sex slave. They killed all my brothers for refusing to convert to Islam. They called
That's
me devil
fucked
worshippers.
up, bro.
Right? Like so the reality is, I think you might be
That's
confused
crazy.
here, Mr. Tucker Carlson, as to who exactly does the sex slavery. All right, but this is what Tucker Carlson has been saying
That
that
is
Trump's
sick, bro.
strategy is. Unconditional surrender means we rape your daughters, and then he uses like the most annoying political trick ever. Pay attention.
Unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter if they want, and everyone knows that. And
everyone knows that. Anytime someone tells you everyone knows that, means they're probably lying.
Has been, if there's one consistent lesson of history, it means unconditional surrender means foreign troops get to rape your wife and daughter.
Did we do that to
That's
Japan
so
after we nuked
stupid.
them? After we nuked Japan, did we go in and rape all their wives and daughters? Like, it's unbelievable that we need to live like this. All right. It's crazy. All right. So this guy, quite literally a foreign propagandist. I've been calling it out for a long time, and people are catching up to me. Oh my God. This is going to be some of the most insane plot twists you're ever going to see. It's shocking this isn't a movie.
Everyone.
Don't forget, we haven't been fighting.
All right.
We had a certain amount of genius
Anyway, we had to fight. They said they had enough uranium to build 11 nukes, and we obliterated them.
to everything, but we haven't been fighting at all. Israel's done a very good job of that.
Yeah.
But we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
We'll see what happens.
The bottom line is they can't have nuclear. And if I can't imagine that Ted Cruz said it's okay for Iran to have nuclear, including Tucker. I don't think Tucker says it's okay. The problem is then they get themselves into a thing. They don't want them to have nuclear, but then they say, well, we don't want to fight. Well, you're going to have to make a choice because it's possible that you're going to have to fight for them not to have nuclear. And it's interesting because I did ask Tucker, I said, well, are you okay with nuclear weapons being in the hands of Iran? And he sort of didn't like that. He didn't want to really, but he sort of...
Oh, he didn't want to answer. He really, even in private, Tucker Carlson didn't want to answer if he minded if Iran, the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the world, not exaggerating, not hyperbole, literally, if they would have nuclear weapons. All right? He did, even in private, he didn't want to answer.
Didn't like that. And I said, well, if it's okay with you, then you and I do have a difference. But it's really not okay with him. Therefore, you may have to fight, and maybe it'll end, very quickly. But there's no way that you can allow, whether you have to fight or not, you can allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon because the entire world will blow up. Not going to let that happen.
Yeah, you don't want to give nuclear weapons to an apocalyptic death cult that quite literally doesn't mind if they blow themselves up if it means they can kill you too. Yeah, no, actually, it's a pretty reasonable position, I would say. So this is what Donald Trump said, all right? So just understand, President Trump says Tucker Carlson and him made amends. They made amends. Trump is a peacemaker. We're lucky to have him. So Tucker Carlson blasts him constantly blasts him. Eventually, all of a sudden, Tucker Carlson's invited to meet him in person. That's so nice. That's lovely. A month before this war. All right. 2 days later, they ask him about it. It's like, hey, but, Tucker Carlson's blasting you all the time. Oh, he called privately. We made peace. Everything's nice and chummy. We're all wholesome and buddies. All right. In fact, this is Tucker Carlson. This is literally Tucker Carlson a couple years ago talking about Iran.
Tucker, aren't we the only country allowed to make preemptive strikes? Who the hell does Iran think it is?
That's it. Actually, I know you're sort of kidding, but I agree with that. I think we are the only country
I'm not
with the
kidding
moral
at all.
authority. Rather, we are. That's absolutely right. The only country with the moral authority sufficient to do that. The only country
International
international. I'm sure I'm the lone voice in the
Ain't no
Senate.
such
I
thing
think
as
Iran deserves
international
to be
law.
annihilated. I think they're lunatics. I think they're evil.
This is what he said when he was back on Fox News before he started getting funding from Iranian billionaires.
I do think we ought to assess what would happen to the price of energy were we to do that. I don't think that's a small factor. It could tank our economy.
Right, so he believes that they should be obliterated, they're evil, right? So that's what he used to think when he was on Fox News. And then he started criticizing Trump and being pro-Iran basically all of the time. All right, talking about how Trump's plan is to rape their wives and daughters. Trump decides to make amends with him. Trump is a peacemaker, in fact. He'll even say that they called, they spoke on the phone, it was also nice. But Trump said about Tucker just recently, after this war started, Tucker has lost its way. This is on March 5th, after the war is in full swing. I knew that a long time ago. He's not MAGA. MAGA is saving our country. MAGA is making our country great again. MAGA is America first. And Tucker is none of those things. Tucker's really not smart enough to understand that. Bro hit him with a nuke after the actual war started. So before the war started, best friends. After the war started, this happens. As President Trump said 8 months ago, someone please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is one of the all-time great Trump posts. And then, all of a sudden, Tucker Carlson is talking about how he was investigated by the CIA. So Tucker Carlson is trying to spin this and get ahead of the story here, but the real revelation is that, as many of us suspected, he has been acting as an agent of enemy foreign intel services without publicly disclosing.
He's been compromised.
Representing foreign interests. Interesting. I'll give you my theory in a minute. The CIA knew Tucker was speaking to the Iranian regime, which he admitted. He literally admitted in his video, saying, of course I talked to the Iranian regime. I talked to a lot of people. I'm a journalist. Right? So we know he was talking to the Iranian regime. The CIA knew Tucker was talking to the Iranian regime. This means that when Trump invited Tucker to the Oval Office multiple times in the lead up to the Iran strike, he knew full well that Tucker was back-channeling information to the Iranians. Essentially, Trump seems to have used Tucker as an unwitting counter-intel asset to convince Khomeini that he was bluffing and that nothing would happen. Trump was able to kill Khomeini thanks to Tucker's arrogance. Unbelievable.
Thank you, Tucker.
This is, again, one of the greatest twists in modern politics history. All right? I don't think this is a FARA referral. If CIA has Tucker talking to the Iranians and he disclosed the substance of his meeting with Trump to the Iranians, then that is treason. That is transmitting or losing defense information.
Tucker Carlson, you should go to jail.
Okay, again, not saying that he did it. I'm just saying, whoever lawfully having purpose of their access to, control over, or being entrusted with any document, writing, code book, signal book, sketch, photograph, photographic, negative, blueprint, plan, model, instrument, appliance, or note relating to the national defense, or information relating to the national defense, which information the possessor has reason to believe could be used to the injury of the United States or to the advantage of any foreign nation, willfully communicates, delivers, transmits, or causes to be communicated, delivered, transmitted, or attempted to communicate, deliver, transmit, or cause to be communicated, delivered, or transmitted with the same to any person not entitled to receive it, or willfully retains the same and fails to deliver it on demand to the officer, employee of the United States entitled to receive it, etc., etc. This
is extremely detailed. But in short terms, is basically means if you are given personal, classified information basically from the government, and you go take this information and you transmit it somewhere else, like to our ops, in the furtherance of them using that like to against us in any kind of way, you're liable to be locked up for treason. I ain't gonna lie, Tucker Carlson, this dude, if he did that, he's stupid as fuck. He threw his life away.
This is definitionally treason. So, if Trump decided to show up, all right, Trump decided to show up. All right, he decided to have Tucker Carlson meet up with him in the White House. They had such a nice time together. And he decided to tell Tucker Carlson, hey, we're not actually planning on striking Iran at all. You're totally right, Tucker, with all the times you criticize me. I am America first. We're just trying to put our military in the area of Iran to scare them and make a deal. We're not actually trying to fight them. And then Iran actually gets all of their leaders to go to parliament. Because, let's be real, why the fuck would they go to parliament when our entire Navy is at their front door? Like, I was wondering, our intelligence is brilliant that we knew they were there, but why the fuck would they actually meet up in, like, not a bunker? They're surrounded.
I was wondering, why are they doing that shit in the open?
Literally, they got obliterated by Israel 8 months ago, and now the United States is on their front door. They had no chance of victory whatsoever. And they go and all of the leaders meet up together to the point that they all got obliterated in one day, except for Moshtaba, who's probably in a coma and he's a potato. Right? Let's be real. Unless they had information from the United States that they weren't actually going to attack and it was all a bluff. Wouldn't it be hilarious if that information came from Tucker Carlson? Wouldn't that be just interesting?
Do we have a proof for this?
Admitting you were texting with Iran while you were lobbying the president of the United States against fighting against Iran and expecting to be seen as the victim might be the new definition of insanity. Like, people are realizing how insane this is. Now, of course, now this is the crazy twist.
I fuck with Nick.
I'm really glad people are picking up on
I'm glad Nick
Tucker Carlson might be going to prison.
Came across
I have some reported information that dives a little deeper on Tucker's contact with IRGC personnel, how President Trump used this to take out Khomeini, and surprise the IRGC. So as many of you have seen, Tucker had this to say on his show.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report, to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking
Treason.
to people in Iran before the war.
Talking to who in Iran, Tucker? Because people don't get arrested for talking to people in Iran. In fact, many Americans talk with people
That's
in Iran.
true.
Family, friends, etc.
What if you were talking to a terrorist organization, though?
That is when they are able to, around the times the IRGC cuts off the internet and services, but you seem to figure it out.
Wait a second. Oh my god, I didn't even consider this.
I
Tucker
forgot about
Carlson
that.
admitted he was talking to people in Iran when
forgot
Iran
about that.
already shut off the internet for the protesters. So who was he talking to? The country didn't have internet for a month and a half. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so over, bro. It's so over. Holy shit.
That is, you were speaking with people in the IRGC. About what? We may have that information, and this will reportedly
Oh my
all be released
God.
in these next coming days or so.
I can't
They
wait.
read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that.
No, they didn't read your text, Tucker.
No,
they were
it's-
actually monitoring the calls and messages of our enemies.
God. Oh, it's...
This is glorious, bro. This is glorious, bro. So you telling me you telling me that we have all these fucks, these dumb fuckers phones tapped over there in Iran, and there is fucking evidence of this dude Tucker Carlson giving them information? Yo, bro. If I see why the title says holy fuck, this is fucking unprecedented. If this is true, bro, this is gonna be insane. This is gonna be insane, bro. No wonder why this dude been off the rails. It's like he knew he was gonna be locked up soon. Fucking Tucker Carlson is a retard.
so over.
It's over.
So over.
He's
They
done.
realized that their enemies were texting one Tucker Carlson.
The same ones plotting against us and screaming consistently.
Oh my god,
death.
I'm just saying, I'm accepting apologies. All right, look, when I called out Candace Owens at the beginning, I got so much shit for it. I accepted apologies on that. A lot of people already apologized, said Nux was right, Candace is retarded. Thank you, I appreciate it. There were no Israeli Sumerian time travelers that murdered Charlie Kirk. All right, no one believes that. All right, I'm really glad. Thank you, I appreciate it. I will be accepting my Tucker Carlson apology very soon. All right, because I got so much shit for calling him out.
Death to America. Do you remember Robert Hansen, the FBI counterintelligence agent who secretly spied for the Soviet Union and later Russia for over 20 years until 2001?
Oh my.
He was arrested not because the U.S. was monitoring Hansen at first, but because they discovered him by analyzing information coming from Russian intelligence files.
Awkward.
Same thing here. If this information is reportedly true, President Trump knew about Tucker's traitorous betrayal of the United States and gave him false information, like he had no intention of attacking Iran. This explains the increasing amount of appearances Tucker had to the White House leading up to Operation Epic Fury. Tucker then passed
I love it.
information on to our adversaries,
Allegedly.
which gave the IRGC a false sense of security. This would include opening up Khamenei to an airstrike along with countless other IRGC leaders who are all now dead.
And they didn't think to hide in a bunker. They really felt pretty secure for some reason.
This
So don't
is
believe Tucker
glorious.
watering down what is happening with this investigation in his video, where he seems extremely nervous, shaken, and uncomfortable.
He does.
Use a little bit of sense. You don't get in trouble and accused of being a foreign agent, charged under the Foreign
I
Agent
wonder what he's
Registration
saying on
Act of
Twitter. He's probably
1938
bugging out on
simply
Twitter
for
right
just
now.
speaking to Iranians. I know that. You know that, and Tucker supporters deep down know that as well. We shall see how this plays out over the next coming days, but if it is even halfway true what is being reported, and what I have on good measure will be released soon,
Oh
then
shit.
he is, to put it lightly, fucked.
God. Holy shit. Unbelievable.
Oh my god, bro.
Retard justification.
Glorious.
Now, another
Glorious.
reason Watkins, and he
Not
doesn't care
arrested
about,
for treason for.
Oh, but up in America,
Well,
I don't
we're
afford
about to
it.
find
That's
out.
the billionaires.
I
He
hope
literally
there's
sounds like
evidence
Bernie Sanders.
against this dude.
In New York, Tucker has said he thinks we should apologize to the family of Osama bin Laden.
He did do that.
That is insane.
Osama bin Laden murdered nearly 3,000 Americans on
I can't believe
9/11.
it. He really
I am
did do
very
all these
glad
things.
That is
Like, I'm
insane.
glad that Ted Cruz, I don't know, man. This dude, this Ted Cruz guy, he has a bug up his ass named Tucker, and he is non-stop going after him right now.
took him out. That's the military.
I didn't even know he said that, bro. Holy shit. I did not know Tucker Carlson said we should apologize for Osama bin Laden. Yo, what is wrong with Tucker, bro? He's getting paid, gang. He's getting paid, bro. There's no way you're a fucking full-blooded American and you think that's true. He's getting paid, gang. I didn't know he said that. That's bananas.
His job to protect our nation. Tucker has said he doesn't know that Hamas is a terrorist organization. He thinks they might just be a political movement.
Oh my fucking
Right
god,
now, I'll
dude.
tell you
He
something.
has all the quotes on the tip of his tongue.
For real.
Oh my
I didn't
God.
even know he said all that shit.
The Iranian TV is playing Tucker's podcast
True.
in Iran.
I was just saying this.
Iranian state TV is playing Tucker Carlson, Hassan Piker, and Sneeko. Understand where we're at.
I was just saying this. I didn't know they was also playing Sneeko and Tucker Carlson, but it makes sense because both Tucker Carlson and Sneeko might be getting paid by these fucks, bro. Because if you look at the way these people act, Tucker Carlson, Hassan Piker, and Sneeko, they are quite literally against the Western values. They are against America. Everything they believe in is against America. Every single one, all three of those people believe that we deserve 9/11. We deserve terrorist attacks. These people quite literally want death to America, bro. And that's why they're playing on those fucking news networks over there in Iran. It's the only reason, bro. So these motherfuckers must be getting paid or something.